Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and it's time for another Breakfast with Blaha. And today we're going to talk a little bit about TRT, which means testosterone replacement therapy. All right, the problem we have is that, again, there's this enormous misconception on the internet that TRT and just blasting a bunch of tests are the same thing. And the problem with this idea is that it's just simply not true. And I'm going to have to make this video over and over and over again. And I think what I'm going to need to do is I'll just make this video once a month because based upon my comments section down below, things people write all the time, what people write on the Facebook fitness page, what I see in different Facebook groups I follow, training groups and stuff, people are clueless as to what TRT is. And I do blame YouTube and Instagram for that because we have so many guys who are quote unquote on TRT, and that's their code for I'm blasting a metric fuck ton of gear, but I don't want to admit to doing anything illegal. That's what that's code for. But it's not the same thing, and it actually does a real disservice to TRT because I'll see people say stuff like, well, I want to see someone do this without this or that and no TRT. And it's like, well, that doesn't make any sense. Because if a person qualifies for TRT, why wouldn't they be on TRT? Like it's people use it as a bragging right. Hey, I'm not on TRT. Well, if you qualify for TRT and you're not on TRT, you're an idiot. Do you see what I'm saying here? It's not a bragging right. You're bragging about being stupid and wanting to die. That's what you're bragging about. People say, what? That doesn't make sense. What do you mean? Because the research shows that any man over 35 who qualifies medically for TRT, like if you qualify, your testosterone is tested at less than 300 nanograms per deciliter, right? You can medically qualify. If you don't get it, you actually have a higher chance of heart attack and stroke. The research, the long-term epidemiology on it shows that men with low testosterone, that those who go on TRT have a 30 to 40% lower chance of having a heart attack or a stroke. Okay? So saying you're not on TRT, you're either saying, well, you don't qualify, or you're saying you're stupid. That you qualify for a medical intervention that would improve your health and quality of life, and you're refusing to do it. That's not bragging, that's just dumb. Number two, people have some weird idea that TRT is going to put 15 pounds of muscle on someone. That doesn't biologically happen. This has been researched. This has been researched pretty heavily at this point. And I saw Dr. James Krager put out some info on that a while back. And do you want to know what the difference is? People say, well, I don't know. If you qualify for TRT, let's say you're at roughly 300 nanograms per deciliter, and you are prescribed enough testosterone to take you up to 600. Okay, you're in the normal range, right? What's the normal range? 300 to 1,000. That's the reference range on tests. If you are given that by your doctor, and you want to know how much muscle they gain on average over the course of time, right? It doesn't happen all at once. About 3 to 4 pounds of muscle. Okay? 3 to 4 pounds. Now, I'm not going to make light of that and say, 3 to 4 pounds of muscle isn't quite a bit, because 3 to 4 pounds of muscle is significant. If you've been training a couple of years already hard, 3 to 4 pounds of muscle is an entire year's worth of really serious gains. But you don't gain 3 or 4 pounds of muscle every year on the TRT. You gain it over the course of about a year, and then it stabilizes. Okay, that's it. That's like the total potential. Maybe in some extreme cases about 5 pounds. But you wouldn't have gotten that if you had normal testosterone and went on TRT. Like if you had a healthy level, you wouldn't see it. That's if you were in the low end and you go on it. That's about what you'll get out of it. 3 or 4 pounds, maybe 5 pounds of muscle over time. But again, had you had 500, 600 nanograms per deciliter as your level, and you went on the same amount of testosterone, you gained 0. It doesn't give you an advantage. It's not like it takes people to a super physiological level. Now, people will make the argument, but they don't suffer from crashes when dieting. Okay, that's true. That's an advantage. If you want to walk around under 10% body fat year round, it's a big advantage then. But no sane person not on testosterone would go under 10% body fat anyway. You wouldn't try to sit there. You might do it for a bodybuilding show or a photo shoot and you fatten back up because you're going to feel terrible. Yeah, true, it gives an advantage if a person wants to do that. But that's also doing something that's unhealthy. Is going to make your life miserable if you're not on something. Like, so what? That's the only real example that people have of it creating an unfair advantage. And it's just ludicrous that people had this idea, that they believe that this is some big deal. Oh, that it's cheating. Or it's like, it's medication prescribed by a doctor to keep you healthy and improve your quality of life. But there's almost this negative connotation, and it's like, why? Why is there a negative connotation to this? Why is it viewed as cheating in some way? It's like it's optimizing your health through your doctor. In what world do we live in where this is a bad thing? I mean, it's ludicrous. It's ludicrous. And it's not giving people an advantage. Okay, let me rephrase. People say, well, because it's not their natural level anymore. Okay, true. It's a fountain of youth. True, it's a fountain of youth. It is partially that. Why is that a bad thing? Again, it's not like it's going to take you above your drug-free level. In other words, a person on true TRT who qualifies, they're not going to have a 27 fat-free mass index. It's not going to happen. Okay? Not going to happen. It's not going to take you to above the natural limit. It might take you above where your natural limit had been with low testosterone by several pounds of muscle. It's not going to be 10 pounds. Not going to be 15. But it's not going to take you above the normal natural size range that someone with a healthy, robust testosterone could get to just with lifting weights and eating. It's not going to take you beyond that. It can't. So people say, but how come this guy? It's like, because they're not on TRT. Well, they might be. But keeping in mind, how many guys out there do we know who make that claim, oh, I'm on TRT, when they're really on a gram? Their TRT would be 100, 150 milligrams, right? They're using a gram. They're using 1,500, using 2,000 milligrams, plus other stuff, and then calling it TRT, because again, it's legal, and it's healthy, and it's acceptable in most circles. Right, you go into certain social circles outside of the lifting world, you go into around wealthy businessmen, they're all on TRT. They get it. It's no negative connotation. It's just part of being healthy and being optimized to them. Because they don't care about what you perceive as cheating in sports. They don't care. And even then, the worst part, I've seen people post, before I close this out, someone posts in comments, well, if you're taking more than 10 milligrams a day, it's like, okay. People don't even get that. They don't understand that 100 milligrams of testosterone cypionate in an injection isn't 100 milligrams of testosterone. Okay? There's ester weight attached. That 100 milligrams isn't all testosterone. Some of it's the cypionate. Okay, it's actually like 60 milligrams. It's like 60 milligrams that you release over time. So again, if people don't even get the math right on that, they'll say something like, well, if a person's exceeding, it's like, so you're saying if they're taking over 70 milligrams of the mixture, but that's not all testosterone either. So again, the people who discuss this stuff and make negative statements half the time don't even know the science behind it. But they make these bold claims about it, and I've seen it on my Facebook page. The other day I had one, and I had a guy do that. I'm like, you're an example of someone who doesn't know what they're talking about. Perfect example. I was literally saying if your average dose exceeds 10 milligrams per day, so more than 70 milligrams once per week on your shot. But if you're being prescribed 125 by your doctor and you're in the normal range, you're wrong. Because again, that milligrams is not pure testosterone. It's not like you can say, well, the average person, they produce whatever, 10 milligrams of testosterone a day. But that's testosterone, not the esterized stuff that people are taking, right? A big chunk of that is ester weight as far as milligrams which gets cleaved off and then releases testosterone over time into the body. So it's not even an equivalency. Again, people don't bother to research this stuff. They just have their own ideas, and they haven't looked any further, and they don't even understand the basics of it. And it's scary because people make these bold statements about it. And the truth is, it's almost as if people are discouraging it, and that's hurting people, right? Because if someone medically qualifies and they need testosterone, they would benefit from it. If this whole community is telling them that it's a bad thing, you are harming their health. And if you're that person and you have these weird stigmas about it, you're harming your own health because you're ignorant. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.